We've seen Konig come out with some pretty iconic wheels over the past like 40 or so years. They've gone from making wheels that I would say were absolutely wild in the 90s to really introducing sport tuner concept designs in the early 2000s. We've talked about them being in the Fast and the Furious, and we've talked about them really finding a way to make affordable flow-formed wheels that they started to do with things like the Ampliform and Renform and all those different lines, which took off by storm. So when they told us that they were going to be coming out with a forged one-piece wheel, I was a little skeptical because usually that involves a really high price, custom bolt patterns, custom offsets, and of course, long ass wait times. They told me that they fixed that because they're gonna be coming out with a one-piece forged wheel that comes in specific offsets, specific sizes and bolt patterns, and is gonna be in stock and ready to go. A lot of people have tried to crack the nugget in terms of having a forged one-piece wheel available for you to buy, but the problem has always been timeline or price. We've talked about the timeline. Now what about the price? Konig forged wheels, these ones specifically, are gonna be anywhere from $530 per wheel to $730 per wheel, which makes them a $2,000 or $2,800 for a set of 4. And in our opinion, that's about as affordable as you're gonna be able to get with forged one-piece wheels. We're gonna be unboxing it here on the Martini Works Unbox channel, which by the way, I'm hiding behind the boxes right now, but I'm Alex Martini. Thank you so much for checking out this site. And of course, if you're looking for wheels or performance parts or anything for your car, you can mod your car at martiniworks.com. Now, let's get into unboxing the F1M. We have 2 different colors today, folks. And if you're looking to understand the difference between the F1M and the F3S, we just did an unboxing on that as well. You can see that design because Konig came out with 2 designs for their forged lineup. You do get a nice, lovely thank you letter envelope with the Konig forged nameplate. It comes from Scott Weiss, who is the president of Konig US. He's a really awesome dude. And since you're spending $2,000, unlike the wheels made in Japan, you do get center caps included, which is a very nice thing. You also get O-ring and O-ring grease in this, which we're gonna talk about here in just a second. Now, because Dakota keeps yelling at me for making a mess when I unbox wheels, I have to be organized and I have to be structured and don't blow it up all over the place, Alex. I know it feels like Christmas, Alex, but you can't make such a mess, Alex. So I'm gonna be nice about it. But I'm gonna complain about it the entire time. This one is actually tied quite tight. And I am sharp with my words, but not big with my muscles. There we go. Beautiful. And we got this one right here. This one is ash silver. Let us experience what the ash silver looks like together. Woo!
Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
That looks good. That looks pretty damn good. Honestly, one-piece wheel always looks pretty banging when you get a combination of width and offset with concavity. This is a really good looking wheel. This is a little different than the other one that we just unboxed, which is the F3S. That one had a little bit of a lip, a little bit of what I would argue might be a sportier design. This one is a little bit more of a street design, but it still carries all the good stuff that you would need for motorsport use. Let's talk about some details so that you can understand why you would spend $2,000 on a set of Konigs, because that is the question of the day, but not before I do this first. So this ash silver particularly is an 18 by 10.5 plus 25, but you can get these in 17, 18, and 19-inch diameter. In your 17s, you're gonna see stuff like your 4x100 bolt pattern, 17x9, that's for the new Miata. You can get a 19x9 all the way up to a 19x12 and a 5x130. That's gonna be your Porsche fitment as well, which is pretty rad. But for bolt patterns, 4x100, 5x112, 5x114.3, 5x120, 5x130. You're also gonna see just a touch smidgen of the 5x100 bolt pattern, I think, as well. If not, I will correct myself in the video. Aluminum center cap, which is also very nice, and it is gasket sealed as well. Now, one of the things we've talked about in the other video is it is very annoying to get these actually installed on the wheels. So Konig solved that problem by giving you this little thing of grease, which is labeled in a way that I can't read a single thing that it says. Hopefully it doesn't say not to huff, because we did that. We're gonna put the center cap in correctly so Dakota doesn't fire me. There we go. All right, Dakota, do I pass?
No, as crooked as possible.
What? It's on the Konig. Now, the F1M is gonna come in weights of 16.4 pounds to 21.7 pounds, which is an insanely light wheel. Anywhere from a plus 25 to a plus 65 offset. That's gonna give you everything for your Porsche, Corvette, your BRZ, your FRS, your GR86, your Supras, your Toyotas, your Corollas, your 350s, your 370s, your Nissan Zs, everything that was in pretty much available as a modified car, you are going to get as an option with this wheel, which looks absolutely incredible. 4 and 5 lug though, which means you're also gonna get some love over to the Miatas. Now this one particularly we said was the 10.5. I do wanna weigh it so I can see just how much this bad boy weighs. 19.6 pounds for an 18 by 10.5 is not bad at all. Let's talk about some key features of this one particularly. First off, design. You're gonna say, wow, that looks incredible. That is an incredible looking wheel. I'm gonna say, yes, it's because you've probably seen this design before. This is a one-piece design of something you would see on a BBS LM. Now, I have seen a couple wheel manufacturers start to use that design for one-piece wheels. I don't know if that has something to do with them seeing that BBS is having a tougher time with their one-piece stuff or what, but what I can say is that this is far enough away from that design style to not be deemed as a straight up replica design. You can actually go out to martiniworks.com and we label all of our wheels as replica, inspired by, or an original wheel design so that you don't feel like you're getting duped when you pick something up. We also have all of the construction so that you can see how a wheel is made, because that is just as important, if not more important, than the wheel design itself. So that's why you're seeing some of that BBS LM in there. We give it an inspired by design style rating. With this wheels particularly, you're gonna see that same like double lift feature on this wheel. That's to help against any sort of impact as you're racing around. You're gonna see some debossed features, Konig forged, which I think looks awesome. The F1M as well, it is all painted. And then you get that valve hole as well. Concavity looking extra killer. You're gonna see in every single spoke, there is some ball milling on the outside just to give it a little bit of depth. And then there's an additional ball milling actually that's really hard to see on the inside of the spoke just to give it some more definition, which I think looks great. No center cuts or anything in between the lug holes here, which is pretty interesting. I would have figured they would have done it just because it does shave a little bit of weight, but if you look at the back, you've got plenty of weight savings that's happening. You've got all of this back pad cut out. If you would need an adapter, you'd have no problem running that. You've got the made in Malaysia here that's laser engraved, which I think looks awesome. And another really kind of small detail is all the details on the wheel itself are etched into the back of the spoke rather than casted into the back of the spoke, which I think is a pretty neat design. Not anything you'd really cry home about or want to tell anybody about, but for the most part, you typically don't see that. Konig did an excellent job with these wheels. The wheels being made in Malaysia is a nice touch. It reminds me that there are factories outside of China and Japan and Taiwan that are doing pretty wicked stuff, which is important because when you think about it, Malaysia has really good manufacturing processes, and that is because of YHI International. We've spoken about it before. YHI International is where wheels from Enki and from Konig are made. They're made very, very well, and they're very, very light. A lot of times the Konig wheels are sharing very similar technology processes as Enki because they're made in the same factory. We have another color here that I'd like to show you guys, because I think it's important because these only come in 2 colors. And so if you're trying to decide which one to get, you have the ash silver, but you also have the fancy term for black, which is satin black. Creative. This one, particularly in the satin black, is an 18 by 9.5 plus 25. So we're gonna compare concavity and width. Here is this. Much more understated in the black, in my opinion. I still think it looks absolutely incredible, but I do think in terms of the 2 colors, you're losing a touch of that 4G high-end kind of finished look hiding in the black. Still a great color, definitely not against it. I'm not a huge fan of gloss black in aftermarket wheels personally. I think they had their heyday back in the mid 2000s and late 2000s. But with that being said, it still has its place on certain platforms and can look incredible. I'm not gonna put the center cap in because I think Dakota might actually shoot me. So instead, I'm gonna let him do that. But here, you can put the two wheels right next to each other and you can kind of see what they look like. You can very clearly see that they're using a different mold. They have to because it's forged for the two different profiles. Both of them have tons of big brake clearance, so nothing to worry about there, and both look great. For $2,000 to $2,800 for a set of four, for a set of forged one-piece wheels, these are gonna do you perfect for the track. 3 reasons why I'd buy them, 2 reasons why I wouldn't. I think the 3 reasons are really simple. It's, in terms of what you're getting, it is probably the most affordable one-piece forged wheel you can buy. Number 2, they look fantastic. They could have gone with a more boring design. They didn't. I love the concavity, and I think this ash silver finish is one of my favorite finishes from Konig in a hot minute. Number 3, in terms of why I would buy this, definitely the offset variation. There are so many different sizes, widths, and bolt patterns you can get this wheel in, which means they're gonna cover a lot of different platforms. If you have a car that's in a 5-lug, this wheel probably fits it. It's gonna be perfect if you're an autocrosser, a drifter, or somebody who's really trying to just get a wheel that can do it all. I don't think you're gonna have a disappointment with this wheel. 2 reasons why I wouldn't. Still an expensive wheel. You're still spending about $2,000. That is a price that not a lot of people want to pay. And if that's not something that you're gonna use, if you're not gonna use the technology, I would probably just go to their flow-formed lineup instead and get something that's more around the $1,400 to $1,200 range, which Konig has for you as well. The second reason why I wouldn't, and this is just me being a really picky guy, a lot of times I prefer my center caps to be the same color as the wheels, and the fact that this ash comes with a black center cap instead of a silver center cap does bug me a little bit too much. So that'd be the second reason why. If you are a styling little guy like me who's kind of a weenie about it, then maybe that would be a reason why you wouldn't buy it. But let us know if you have any questions on this wheel. Of course, we have them over at martiniworks.com. And if you need help finding what wheels fit your car, just shoot us a message. We'd be happy to help you. I'm Alex Martini. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Flat. And straighten it out. Straighten the wheel out. Straight.